This is Trending on Shaw. You'll find us on all social media, on Pinterest,
Yes.
on Facebook, and on Twitter.
Yes.
And it's simple. Just go to Trending on Shaw. You'll find us all there. And you can just tune in right now.
Yeah.
And live stream as well, too. We got everything here. Here's who our panelists are this morning. Of course, it's Kate. It's Phoenix. We have Leslie Evans, who is the Executive Director with the Federation of Calgary Communities, as well as Ice Rink Volunteer Extraordinaire, Gordon Miller, and also Kevin Olenek, who is, yes, Agree or Disagree, the podcast. He's on the fence with a lot of things. Agree or Disagree? What a cool little name.
Thank you.
Agree.
Do
we agree?
I agree with Phoenix.
More with these three in a few moments, but there's other things that are trending in our city.
Speaking of agree or disagree, this one has a few of us talking here. We were just talking about it quickly over the commercial break. So a girl in Calgary was riding the train. She had her U-Pass, you know, the ones you get on your university if you're going to State, Mount Royal, U of C. So she was going to renew it for the new semester, and she had a monthly pass with her. And so she had two. So for the rest of the month, she would have two different sources to pay to get on the train. So she was on a form of transportation, I'm not sure it was the bus or the train, and she handed over her monthly pass to somebody who looked like they would need it for the rest of the month.
A wonderful
somebody
gesture.
Who was down on their luck, that's what she claims anyway. And so it just so happens that one of the officials, you know, the ones that ride the
transit cops.
Transit cops, yeah. So someone oversaw this exchange and ended up fining them both. So fining the guy who she said his name was David for not having a valid pass, and then she was fined $250 for handing over her second pass under what was considered a sell, exchange, giveaway, or receive a transfer validated ticket or pass.
That's the rule. That's the rule. So she should have been fined. Agree or disagree?
Technically, I agree.
Yeah.
But my day job, I work at SAIT, and we handle the U-Passes, and I know for a fact that some of these U-Passes get sold to other students. I understand why.
Shh, don't say that, Kevin.
I've heard rumors, right? So I understand the letter of the law on that, but I think that there should be some compassion around helping somebody down on their luck. I think I think as a cop you have that discernment to do one or the other. And
why couldn't I give it to Gordon? He's been a great volunteer for 19 years, and I decide that, hey, you know, when I want to give him a little break, I don't need my pass because what Kate was mentioning, I'm just going to give it to Gordon.
You should give it to Gordon.
Should I be fined? That seems ridiculous.
The law says yes, apparently.
It seems that sometimes laws and bylaws seem more intent on collecting fines than in really having people do what, for lack of a better phrase, is right. I stand ready to be corrected, but I believe it's also against the city bylaw to go and plug parking meters that are about to expire.
Well, and I believe you can be.
I don't think we have those anymore.
No, but when we did, I believe you could be fined for those as well, too. Are we just taking this way too far, Leslie?
You know, I think society sometimes is so rigid. And yes, the law is in place to keep people from making money and from, you know, doing things that are really offside. This woman had an extra pass that she didn't use.
Innocent. Yep.
It was innocent.
Yep.
She wasn't going to use. It wasn't like handing off a half-paid parking. You know, when you put too much money in the parking thing and you go, oh, here's another hour for you. That's kind of really, you've already used part of it. She hadn't used the last part of that pass. The city already had their money. I think there's a judgment call that needed to be made here, and I think compassion. If this person really was down on his luck, and it was a gift that was given out of the generosity of this person, and she made nothing off it herself, I think some judgment needed to be pulled in there.
Unfortunately, though, there are people that do abuse the system, and I think it develops a certain cynicism towards, even if the police officer actually believed the actual story or not. Unfortunately, that happens. But if someone is doing a good thing, of course, obviously, yes, you should give Gord a bus pass because he deserves it for 19 years of volunteering.
Yeah, well, one of the things about Calgary is that maybe we're just trying to get ourselves on the map, but not on the map in New York City. New York doesn't even know where Calgary is, according to Kevin. Is that true? People are saying, where's Calgary, Alberta, Canada? They might even be saying, where's Canada?
They might be. could be. They could be. Well, that's actually that was a comment or a commentary from Mike Morrison in the Metro that Calgary talking about being a world-class city. But if we're not a world-class city, New York doesn't know us. And it's interesting that we put that as a label of what we consider world class. I don't know if we as Calgary, do we consider ourselves a world class city? Do we want to be a world class city?
We're sure in the news with the oil and gas prices. Let's be real here. You know, we're hearing everything about when it comes to oil and gas prices dropping. It's affecting Canada, but more specifically, it's affecting Alberta.
But what's our perception outside of our city? It's kind of where we're going with this, I think, right? If, like, I've been in Vegas, and you say Calgary, they go, where? Canada? Where? No, I'm just kidding. Just up there. Yeah.
It's not. I don't think it's so much a situation where people in New York don't know about Calgary, but should. It's that people in New York don't know much about anything outside of New York.
But are we saying the same thing about New Yorkers? Are we saying, oh yeah, they're a bunch of fill in the blanks? You know, we all have preconceived notions of what other cities and other people are like. So maybe it's just their way of saying, yeah, you know what, you're not important to us right now.
The question, though, wasn't about the type of people
That's
there.
true.
It was, do you know Calgary, Alberta, Canada? We know New York.
Yeah.
Like, we all can name at least a couple buildings or, you know, entertainment that is there. We can all name one annual event that happens there. That annual event is probably as big as our Calgary Stampede.
Right.
Why can't they name it?
I don't know if New York doesn't know. I mean, the Calgary Stampede is a world famous event. I'm having trouble believing that New Yorkers don't know that, because they come up here all the time. And
I mean, he just asked specific people, so
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
So did he just pick the wrong people?
Like, I mean,
That
it's like
is
saying Rick
possible,
Mercer's
too.
talking to
Exactly.
Americans
Yeah.
is how Americans see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one person that we should know about is this next gentleman. He is from Deer Ridge. Is it Deer Ridge or Deer Valley?
Deer Ridge.
Deer Ridge Community Association.
Yeah.
Gordon Miller has been a volunteer over there for now going on 19 years.
Yes.
And one of the things that you do, sir, and you do so very well from what Leslie and other people have said, is that you take care of that community rink and you love doing it. Why?
Well, it started out that my son, like I mentioned earlier, my son wanted to skate on the outdoor rink. We didn't have money at that time, 19 years ago, to put him into minor hockey. So I said, well, I guess I better go put some sweat equity into this. And back then it was a matter of hauling leaky 4-inch salvage fire hose.
Wow.
Now we have an Olympia ice resurfacing machine. And given an hour to work the ice, I can give you a surface as good as anything inside. It's not uncommon for people coming to use the ice to say two things. One, I'm from way outside this community, but I got to come here because you've got the best ice in Calgary. I think there's probably a few other communities that would like to challenge that thought, but I
Why
try
is
to
the
do a
rink
good job.
important to a community?
It gives the community, and obviously from what I just said, people outside our community, something to do in the winter, rather than just sit at home and stay inside and watch whatever's on TV, like trending.
Sure.
But the thing is that it also gets people out as a group. It's something that's done. The people that look after the rinks do it as a group. I've got another 4 or 5 guys that come out and help me with various features that we need to do, whether it be hose floods, running the Olympia days I
Give us
can't
their
be
names.
there. There's Bob.
Oh, good old Bob.
Yeah, Bob Hall. The rest of the crew is pretty new this year, so I'm hard pressed to think of their last names. Corey, Brent, Peter.
They deserve that recognition.
Yep.
how many hours do you put in a week? What is in the winter?
About 5 years ago, I kept a running tab of every minute that everybody that came anywhere near that rink put in. And it came out to about 215 hours. And I personally had put in about 103 of them.
Wow.
Now, multiply that by 147 rinks.
Yes.
Because we have 105 community associations operate rinks, and some of them have 2 rinks, a pleasure rink and a hockey rink. So multiply that commitment.
And if you don't have an ice resurfacing machine, it is very labor intensive.
And many don't. You know, you asked what the value of an ice rink is. It's one of the last forms of free recreation for children and for young people in our communities. And I think that it's because of people like Gord that kids have the opportunity to go out and play, and in an environment that is social, that is safe, because people are around.
It's a gathering
These are
point.
high,
Yep.
absolutely, they're high use areas.
Yeah.
So it's quite exciting to have that as part of our network.
Setting an amazing example, Gordon. It's so great to have you on panel this morning. Thank you, and for all the stuff that you do as well, too. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for having me.